They don't make them like they used to, I guess.
Oh no! Oh no! That is horrible. And 3, 2, 1. Whoa! It is episode 405 of GI Joburg. And
Wow.
I'm joined by this handsome gentleman over here. This is Steven. Say hello, Steven.
Hi, everybody.
And this handsome gentleman over here named Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey, Rob, and hello, everyone. Welcome.
And how are you fine, gents, on this fine evening? How is KP Town?
It's going good. I'm having a wonderful evening.
I'm so sorry, Rob. Do you want to tell us about it? You do look a bit shell-shocked.
So tonight we're talking about, or in this episode, we're talking about Firefly, the original version. But I do not have the original version. I have the 2005, 2008 comic pack version of him, which came with Saboteur and Scrap Iron, who I was just playing with to kind of like play with his joints, and just snapped his
Oh
knee.
no, dude! I'm so sorry.
And I've actually almost done that with his other knee as well. As I was playing.
Is it the thigh joint that is cracked, or is it just the pin?
No, it is. It's this part here.
Oh wow! The lower leg has
the lower leg.
Good.
The little thing is completely gone, and I think it's gonna do the same on the other leg because I heard the same sound when I moved his other leg as well. Thankfully, I do own the original, so
Oh, thank God.
I now have a wonderful zombie version of him, I guess.
Scrapped Iron.
Yeah, he's crap. Well,
Scrapped.
word of warning to everyone out there: if you do have the mid 2000s comic 3-pack O-ring figures, they are all quite brittle.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Which is wild, because I mean that's around about the time that they were bringing out better versions of these, or at least different plastic versions.
Different plastic on the forearms, sure, so they can accept the weapons. But the crotches were still the sort of hard plastic. And for whatever reason, maybe the mixture, maybe the additives, the plastic just isn't breaking down very kindly. So that stuff shatters like glass these days.
I have a theory about that.
Oh, okay.
And it's a theory that I think will apply to the Super 7 Reaction Plus stuff as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, right.
They didn't future-proof those toys, man.
I think it's the paint. Yeah, because those comic 3-packs, a lot of them actually have painted skin as opposed to just using skin-colored plastic.
Yes, they do actually. Yeah. You can see that on Scrap.
And I think the paint might be affecting the plastic over time. The way it's been degassing.
Conspiracy theorist. The
It
paint
could be
is causing the plastic to be brittle. No, I just think
possible.
The relaunch plastic for GI Joe was of a shittier grade.
Oh, it certainly
Corners were cut in the early to mid 2000s.
100%.
So while we were getting O-ring figures alongside the new sculpt figures, the O-ring figures were not up to standard.
Yeah,
certainly not up to the standard of these old guys.
Yeah.
Firefly figure comes from 1984. He's as old as me, but he's looking fantastic.
Fantastic.
Now I can't make an argument that this version is better with the newly sculpted head, because
newly sculpted head and paint apps.
So,
if you're familiar with the Firefly, you'll note that his detail.
Put mine on the camera too.
While beautifully sculpted and covered in that sort of mottled dark gray on slightly less dark gray camo pattern or paint mask, he's got bandoliers, he's got grenades, he's got magazines, he's got a bomb, but none of it's painted in. Belts, his sidearm, none of it has a paint application to kind of make it pop. Whereas the early 2000s version, mid 2000s version, does. So it's up to the audience to decide which they like more.
Which do you?
Because you might say to yourself, hang on, there's all this detail being going to waste on the classic Firefly sculpt. But then be careful what you wish for, because, maybe it's just too contrasty to suddenly have those belts and bandoliers and grenades picked out in blacks and silvers.
There is something about the newer version that reminds me of his appearance from Sunbow. I think it's the lighter gray.
It's more
There's something
accurate.
about him. He just seems very Sunbow-esque for me. And yeah.
Though I would also say, while yes, the animation model was a lot lighter than the classic figure, they didn't bother picking out those details.
Yes, he was painted more accurately to the figure, because obviously there was no other version. He was completely camoed in the show, but yeah, the lighter gray on the newer version is better.
Also, just for the listeners and viewers, you may feel like you're in free fall right now because we're just talking about this toy. But yes, this episode is, as Rob mentioned, it's all about Firefly, 1984 Firefly.
Mhm.
It is a figure focus. Rob suggested it, and I have no idea. Why did you suggest this figure, Rob? Like, what?
I was struggling to find something from the 90s because I feel like we've been on quite a 90s kick.
We
the
have
last
been.
last couple of the year or so, I guess.
Mm.
Kind of like being very nostalgic of our 90s figures and times we had with them. And I don't know, it just kind of like I saw Firefly and I was like, he's quite an important character, and I feel like we haven't given him his time in the sun. Well, I mean, he's one of those top echelon, cobras in the movie. He is one of the guys standing around, kind of like,
He was standing around in the movie. He was there, guys.
well, he's one of the named cobra dudes, So I thought, why don't we chat about him? So I reached out and I was like, we all own him, right? Like in one form or another.
Yeah.
Firefly is that problematic character that
Cujo loves.
there's actually too much lore to. I mean, we could very easily fill this podcast talking about his early appearances and then what they did with him in the 90s. Because this guy has so many strings to his bow. He was, I think, Larry's crosshairs fell on Firefly and was like, okay, let's weave this guy deeper into the lore than anyone could have ever anticipated. And maybe a lot of that stuff overstays its welcome. It's the Boba Fett syndrome. Like, cool bounty hunter, great look. We did not need to see Book of Boba Fett. Honestly, like, that has diminished that character to the point where, like, I just, moving forward, anytime I see Mandalorian, I think that's Boba Fett actually. Like that's where all my like cool points have gone.
Yeah.
The Tamura Morrison character can just, I don't know, go out to pasture. Thanks.
Well, if we could hover on Boba Fett for a few seconds without
Please.
jetpacks and all that, I will always have my strongest impression of Boba Fett is, yes, obviously from the original trilogy, from original Star Wars, original Star Wars trilogy, but actually encountering him as a boss, in
Shadows of the Empire.
Actually before that, what's it called? Dark Forces 2, Jedi Master.
Whoa.
You fight him there. For one of the missions, you fight him there, and then you fight him, and then you do fight him in Shadows, and he is terrifying. And that was great. It was great to have that moment. Like, it's cool because when you like a character like Boba Fett as much as you do when you're a kid after watching Empire and Jedi, you kind of feel like he's your friend. So when you see him in a game and he's kicking your ass, you're like, but Boba, I like you so much. Why are you trying to kill me? Anyway, I just small little anecdote that I wanted to throw in. But yeah, Firefly does have an abundance of lore, and
such wonderful timing, though, Paul. I'm going to put the brakes on. This was my childhood Boba Fett. The Power of the Force one, really buff, barrel-chested. He just happened to be like a meter away from me.
That is wild.
Wonderful. We got a lot of mileage out of this figure. I certainly did. Loved playing with them.
Had I
even
found one.
limited articulation, because his whole uniform is a weapon. He's got
Mhm.
those sort of rockets on his wrist, and he's got a flame projector on the other side, and sort of thing that fires the cord that wraps up Luke Skywalker, etc. And then if you read Tales of the Bounty Hunter, he's also got like a death gas projector. What would you call it?
Yeah, the
He's
flamethrowers on his.
Ventilator.
Yeah.
You know, if you even in his presence, he can just kill you with this like lethal gas.
Doesn't he also have like
Kind of like my
boosters
dad.
in his knee or something, or flamethrowers in his knee? Like
Oh yeah, these sort of rocket dart
Rocket
launchers.
darts.
I mean,
Yeah, which
whatever.
obviously inspired the bat, and it's overkill.
overkill. Yeah, I love how that came around.
But maybe that's all we need to say about Boba Fett in this episode, or maybe there'll be more
Maybe we'll come
dun,
back
dun,
to
crossover
it.
between these two characters.
So
Crazy.
because you mentioned the lore, I do want to kind of cherry pick some pieces of Firefly's lore that I quite enjoy.
Please, we love to do this.
I love that he never shows up in photographs. That somehow he's always somehow obscured. I think it is such a cool thing. Yeah, I love that.
So
I
the
really-
explanation is
Mhm.
that he is hypnotizing everyone in his presence.
Hmm.
This is something that we learn in issue 126.
Yes.
The giant tell-all about Firefly's, added backstories.
Yeah, where he returns because we
Ugh.
did. Yeah.
It's a lot, and we recently covered it in Chasing Joe. So check the tapes if you'd like more information on issue 126. But the mechanism by which he stops people from remembering his face, even when he's unmasked, is by hypnotizing your brain moment to moment into forgetting what his appearance is.
Hmm.
And then when asked, but how do you stop your face from being captured on photographs and stuff? He's like, no, well, I just simply move my head.
He does a boss dance. He goes.
So, like, why are you gyrating so much, sir? Or, I mean, do you have the
Interesting.
shakes?
Could he be Firefly?
I wonder if we can do it. I wonder if we can do. He's like let's try to vibrate ourselves out of focus here.
Fast enough to.
Oh boy.
It's not working.
Look, it's creative, but I don't know if the logic tracks. It's a lot of fun. It's what we like to call ninja bullshit.
Yeah,
Because
Mhm.
yes, Firefly came out as a ninja with these superpowers. Ultimately,
Yeah,
maybe we
which
shouldn't
is.
dwell too much on that stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, Steven, I think a little while ago, Steven was like, yeah, it's Firefly's a ninja. And I was like, I don't accept him as a ninja. That's
Oh.
Well,
ridiculous.
this comes back to our 20 questions game,
Mm.
where you guys had 20 questions, 20 yes/no answer style questions in order to guess the action figure that I had in my pocket. It was Firefly version 2, and or version 3, in fact. It was the lime green with the black accents.
Mhm.
One of the questions that was asked was, is he a ninja?
I
And I
asked that.
said yes,
Yes.
without
And
hesitation.
Yeah.
He particularly that version has been outed as a ninja master. And yeah, I think Rob, you were particularly sour grapes about that answer because that really threw you off the trail.
Yeah, because I was like, he's not a ninja. But then, because I obviously had never read 126, and I never followed his history that much, because to me he'd always been just a terrorist, a dude who blew stuff
Yeah.
up. His entire MO was blowing stuff up. I mean,
Yeah, the foil for like a tunnel rat kind of thing.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And he needed that distinction because in his presence in the 1984 series, you had a ninja assassin. You had a master of disguise who probably also did assassinations. And then right in the middle, you've got another masked character who is the Saboteur.
Mm.
And a very kind of personal Saboteur. He didn't like use a drone. His MO was to sneak in without anyone seeing, place a bomb where it can do its most destructive work, and then get out. His fee is always paid in advance into a Swiss bank account. Like this guy is billed on the file card as being superhuman. He's right up there with Storm Shadow as the kind of guy who can get into the most heavily guarded environment, do some extreme damage, and then get out. In fact, I would posit then Firefly is more lethal than Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow's methods were probably more personal. He's a more precise weapon of assassination, whereas Firefly could wipe out an entire base of Joes,
Yeah.
if we are to believe his file card.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put forth the theory in this episode that it's all a lot of hot air.
And
Whoa.
This guy is a snake
support
oil
that.
salesman from way back when. Like,
Yeah.
his reputation is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I agree. I'm with you
Whoa.
there. I think that's part of his weapon, is that even his file card is fake. That's
Smoke and mirror lies.
You guys are
so
crazy.
elucidate, Steve. Like,
Well, you need only see his track record. So, I mean, the quote, or no, he always places his charges in the one place that affords maximum damage. There is no question about his infiltration skills, since no one has ever reported seeing him enter or leave any target area. Flick forward to his first appearance in GI Joe, right?
Issue 24?
24, the commander escapes. So he has actually been tasked with the very lofty goal of eliminating Cobra Commander, tracking him down, firstly, and killing him. It's Major Blood who's issuing the orders. Baroness is sort of countersigning off on it. Wild Weasel, Cobra's best pilot, is to get Firefly where he's going, and then
Mhm.
Firefly is to do the dirty deed. Like, he fails dismally. He gets captured by Zartan in the next issue. He then becomes a sort of, I don't know, a prisoner of Zartan, and then kind of Zartan's bitch is sent off on assignment to try and intercept the Joes. Once again, fails at that. He does succeed in eventually evading and escaping from capture. But the very next time we see him, he is trying to assassinate Snake Eyes in his cabin. Once again, like, it gets drawn out into a gun battle. Firefly is largely ineffectual. He gets shot, he gets tagged, he winds up, lying in a snowdrift with everyone else in that issue. Um, Basically, the guy has not really succeeded in doing what his file card posits him as being able to do.
Yeah, and you could even say from what issue 70 something, when he gets is it in the 70s where he gets buried in the
Freighter.
tanker in the front. I mean that he died eventually, and he wasn't able to escape that until 40 issues later, where suddenly retroactively, Firefly suddenly becomes what his file card kind of like claims him to be. This master,
Well, he's
infiltrator.
certainly good at survival, I'll give him that, but he doesn't really achieve any of his aims. And this, I guess, comes back to, this is a kid's book for children who like toys. You can't make your bad guys as effective as their file cards or dossiers would make them out to be, because then they would absolutely win the day. G.I.
Mhm.
Joe would be reduced to nothing, corpses. So what do you do with a character whose MO is sabotage and demolitions and terror? He becomes a bit of a toothless threat unless you're going to give him sacrificial lambs to kind of take out. And he did kind of give the order to take out Softmaster and Billy and Candy Apple,
he was
but
involved
it
there.
was
Yeah.
Scraphind who ultimately fired that rocket.
Yeah, it's the same with he was. I mean, he does reveal that in issue 126 he was tasked with taking out Snake Eyes,
Yeah.
who Cobra Commander hires him to do, and he ends up not being able to do it. He then himself subcontracts Zartan to shoot the Softmaster or the
Yeah.
Hardmaster.
Which and
Well, the intended no, well, Rob, I mean, the intended
Well, the
target was
intended
still
target
Snake
was
Eyes,
Snake Eyes, yeah.
but Zartan fucked that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not looking so great for the bad guy's scorecard, I guess.
And Steve, I'm going to need your comic law knowledge here, but
I will try.
I remember reading a whole thing with Firefly where he's also training. Like, actually he's actually training as a Rashikage, but he's from the other ninja clan. He's
Koga.
Koga.
yeah, thank you. He's part of the Koga ninja clan. So he's actually infiltrating, but he does actually sort of in his mind turn a little bit towards,
So
or at least
I
you
think
get
you
the
might be
impression that he
thinking of
has.
Zartan's infiltration,
Yes.
working for Master Onihashi, the swordsmith.
Yes. That's
Zartan was
that's
never a member of the Arashikage,
yeah.
but he did become an apprentice, and by doing so, he kind of developed some scruples. He
Hmm.
developed a more virtuous side that he then revisits when he reforms, and
Because that was a
only
cool
after
series.
killing the Fine Master. But we're blowing off track. I think Firefly
Yeah.
was always, despicable baddie. He was bought and paid for by Cobra Commander to take out Snake Eyes
Mm.
in the Arashikage dojo, but felt he was not able to do that. He witnessed Snake Eyes' abilities firsthand, and he's like, I can't pull this off. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get my ass handed to me. Let me rather try and get someone else to, I don't know, be my patsy. At least try and kill Snake Eyes. I
Hmm.
guess Zartan was really being set up to fail in that sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, there
But
is
yeah,
a
the
whole.
Firefly was the son of a serviceman in Vietnam. Father died. He was taken on by the Koga ninja clan and trained to the point where I guess he could become an outside examiner
Mm.
for sort of final students of the Arashikage. And that's why he finds his way into those photographs.
Mhm.
Now, not an interesting thing about him as well is that he's never credited as an. Wait, before I get myself into trouble there, but they never put him in Ninja Force, which I always thought was weird. But in the GI Joe comic books, he is sort of leading Slice and Dice in all of them at one
Yes,
stage.
because because he hadn't at that stage he hadn't revealed himself to be Firefly because he was still dead. So he was what, the Red Ninja Master?
He impersonated a red ninja,
Yes.
and Slice and Dice took him at face value. Ha ha.
Mhm.
But yeah, he reveals himself as Firefly, and then from that point onwards, is so proficient and hands everyone their asses so hardcore that Slice and Dice kind of fall in line.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just always thought it would have been cool if they'd actually just made him, given him that Ninja Force stamp on his toy some way, or just
Well,
alluded to it.
I'm grateful that Firefly versions 2 and 3 don't have spring action features built into them. They
Nah.
are standard O-ring figures because that was my Firefly, and I'll be the dissenting opinion. I quite like that Firefly. I will freely admit
So it
it's
does Gary
not
V.
superior to this version, but it doesn't offend me.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, yeah,
No,
By that
Gary
I mean,
V,
for the
big
listeners,
shout out
it's not
to
superior to the 1984 version.
shout
Let's
out
be clear.
to Oh, okay. Well, I mean, listen, like I was just saying now, Gary V of Chaplin's Motorpod, he's a big fan of that Firefly as well.
Yeah, he's pretty
So you're
cool.
not alone. You're
I'm
in
not
good
saying,
company, Steve.
bad figure. I think he's
I
pretty
hate that design.
No, I think he's pretty cool. Good.
I
I mean,
still
once
I
again,
still can't come around on it.
Steven grew up with it, so did I.
So did I, and I hated it then too. So
Ah,
I'm like-
Other media
Um,
appearances, I mean, that version did find its way into Atlantis Factor, the GI Joe sequel game for
Yeah.
Nintendo Entertainment System. But let's talk about 1984 Zartan, because I think we could do the lime green in its own episode.
You mean
No,
Really
no.
1984's
the ninja stuff.
Firefly, not or Zartan disguised as Firefly?
Did I misspeak?
You did.
Yeah, so yes, lime green Firefly. Yeah, when Rob gets his. Do you have
Oh.
one as well, Paul?
I do,
You do.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
No, I'm
when Rob
joking. I
gets
do
his
have one.
one day, then we can talk about that figure. But right
Yeah.
now, let's talk about this guy because he's effing cool, man. I come back to the sculpt and just say, like, there's so much goodness to be pulled from it. For a 1984 sculpt, this gives promise of what the line could be in
Yeah.
terms of its detail. I mean, he's holding company with guys like Major Blood and Duke, figures that were very basic, very
Mm.
smooth in a lot of areas, almost kind of Super 7. Though not quite as basic as that. But Firefly, yeah, he feels like he's kind of future-proofed as a figure that will look cool, even holding company with like the 1985, 86 good guys.
He's almost like the Snake Eyes of that line because he is kind of like very like one color. He does have the camo going on, but he is kind of like that masked character.
It's mostly just gray and masked. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Like, I think-
craziest eyes, my guys. Like, dude, look. We'll get into it. I'm gonna put it in front of the camera now, but Steve's showing us something here. The card art, the card back. Okay.
The card front.
The
Card
card
front.
front, yeah.
You talked about his eyes, Paul, on the
Yeah,
sculpt.
yeah.
Okay.
He's got
Very
crazy
interesting.
eyes. Like, uh, I'll bring it up to the camera just now after you've shown off this. But if you look really closely at his eyes, they're like huge,
Yeah, they're
and they're
very
very
viewed far apart, I think, as well on the original.
Okay, yeah, the sculpt is a little bit wibbly. I like the fact that the lips are visible beneath the balaclava. But yeah, he does not look like a handsome man. He
Hmm.
looks quite grotesque. Maybe he's had some close calls with handling, I don't know, caustic substances. I
Mm,
mean, like an explode. It's such a cliche that explosive guy is scarred because
mm,
surely if you've made a mistake with any of your explosives, that's it. You're vaporized. You don't
Mm.
walk around with like a cool studly facial scar. But
yeah.
no, I guess there are more tame accidents that could have happened. Maybe when he was growing up, he was a bit of a pyromaniac.
Mm,
Certainly in the I mean, in the cartoon appearances, they seem to take Firefly to be literal,
yes.
that he deals with flame.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because in his first appearance in The Revenge of Cobra, aka the Weather Dominator, he is dropping like fire explosives to kind of create a barrier on the roadway to kind of bar the GI Joe convoy from getting through. And then again in Ode Cobra, lovely appearance of
Yes.
Firefly.
Very
Gets to
cool.
kind of
Mhm.
occupy the first,
You've
I'd
seen my
say, third
face.
of that episode. He fires this kind of weapon that has a hose coming off the back, which kind of feels like it could be like barbecue's weapon, but it fires like blue flame.
Blue flames, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of melts the snow so he can get at this wolf's bane. Was it called wolf's bane? Anyway,
Uh, no.
the key ingredient to make this hypnotic potion
Mm.
that will beguile men. Anyway, if you don't know Oda Cobra, classic episode, I
Great.
suggest
Yep.
checking it
Yeah.
out if you need to
Absolutely worth
refresh your
watching.
memory. But it kicks off with a killer appearance from Firefly.
And very well
Yes.
animated as well. Well, for the standard of Sunbow's
Yeah,
show in
there's
general.
also like one very awesome like frame of him.
Mm.
It's
Standing
almost
in
like
the doorway,
standing in a
saying,
doorway with a
"Don't look at
shadow
me.
of his
To
face.
see
Yeah.
my face is to die," or something like that.
Yeah.
No one's seeing your face, dude. You're wearing a mask the whole time. To see my mask means to court your
Even to see
doom.
my
So
mask.
I think that like Firefly translates well into something like Metal Gear Solid. I feel like he's a
Mm.
character that would work in Metal Gear Solid and
As a boss,
as a boss.
Oh, for
right?
sure, yeah.
Yeah, he does sort of remind me a little bit, or should I say in Metal Gear Solid 3, the pain reminds me a little bit of Firefly.
Oh, yeah, he
That's
liked using explosives, didn't
he
he?
does, and he's also his appearance is very similar to the to Fireflies. I say the pain, um,
Wait, the
but
pain was the guy with the bees, wasn't he?
the bees, yeah. And
No,
then
it's not
there's
him then. It's
the
the
camouflage
guy in the
dude.
forest, yeah.
Yes,
He's running
yeah,
around the trees.
yes. I can't. Sorry, guys, I can't remember what he's called.
It's
But
all
anyway,
right.
him. Um,
Hideo Kojima is
but
rolling in
anyway,
his grave.
what I wanted to get at is like there's this like madness to his eye sculpt or to that sculpt, and that's what I'm coming back to is that
Okay.
it just
It
he
looks
looks
weird.
nuts. He looks nuts, and he does kind of remind me of what people thought the Unabomber looked like.
Hmm.
You know, yeah. So I mean, and that was a thing. That was a hot topic. I'm actually surprised. Sorry if I can just divert here for 2 seconds. That in humble little 1984, that this toy got released because that the Unabomber was doing quite a thing back in the day. He was active in that time,
Hmm.
you know. And I thought I would think that explosives and remote detonated explosives and booby traps and all the kind of stuff that Firefly is sort of credited, credited for would be very taboo. But somehow,
Sensibilities were different in the 80s, and we are better for it. I mean, these were
definitely,
Hmm.
cool toys because, much like a video game, they allowed you to act out these things in a sort of harmless environment.
mm,
You're playing with your plastic playthings, but the content is hard as hell. Like assassination, death. I mean, in the
Terrorist
real world, these things
organization.
are obviously horrifying, but
Mm.
with your plastic action figures, there's a shield of innocence there.
You
But
need of
see, something else
explosives.
that strikes me when I look at the file card or the card art, the portrait, is that it's very evocative of like typical ninja artifacts of the time, like
Mhm.
the classic like balaclava head of a ninja with this very intense, face sculpt beneath, like the arched eyebrows. I mean, look how much his eyebrows are arching. Um, I think Hector Garrido definitely pulled on some of that stuff for this intensity.
I
And
love that ninja-stick look to his eyes,
but
man.
do you guys then get the feeling that maybe his ethnicity is not Caucasian? That he could be Asian? I'm pretty sure I played Firefly as Asian.
Yeah, I think David did as well, and there's something about his voice in the animated series that kind of also made me feel he was Asian.
Well, we didn't have the benefit of his animated appearances growing up, but like this card art,
Well, I did because of Odo Cobra, but yeah,
this card art just screams, yeah, as I say, 1980s ninja paraphernalia. You know how you'd get like a sort of set of plastic
like ninja
weapons,
stars and a
ninja
katana.
stars, a crossbow, plastic hollow nunchucks, and
Yeah,
there'd be like some amazing cool graphic of like a ninja on
yeah,
the card.
I love that. I love it so
Well,
much.
that's what Firefly's face channels for me.
And yeah, I
And we
still have
spoke
that
about
plastic
this in
sword
his
somewhere.
file card battles or card art battles. The fact that the submachine gun was added to the art sort of after the fact because of the awkward way that it occupies the space. Like, how
Mhm.
can he be holding the magazine and the gun be so flat on, like square on to the
Mm.
camera and not be on top of his shoulder?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Be
is
hooked
very
behind his
weird.
body like that? Nah, doesn't add up.
It doesn't work at all, but that's what they felt they had to add it because he doesn't come with the pistol. He comes with that gun. And they
Yes.
felt they couldn't change, I guess they couldn't change the pistol into this
Yeah. It
gun
was,
because of the way that he would be framed in the picture. The gun
it'll
would
be
go
cut off.
completely off the edge.
Yeah,
maybe Hector. I mean, certainly the backpack is so well rendered in the artwork, down to the most minute details. So he must
Mm.
have had access to that accessory or prototype of that. But the gun, maybe not. Maybe the gun was a late addition. Maybe he had his phone or a detonator in
that's what
his
I
left
think it
hand.
was, and they painted it out.
They
I,
painted
It
it out.
really does look like the phone, though, doesn't it?
it
Kind
does.
of.
Well, the magazine on this gun does have that
Okay,
sort of
yeah, that is
double
true. It does kind of like bubble
protrusion.
out like that.
But yeah, it's just a very like flat angle for the gun, very
Mm.
sort of obviously one-dimensional almost. Whereas we should be able to see a little bit more sort of barrel detail,
Yeah.
like the
Well, I
opening of the
mean,
barrel.
simply the fact that he's holding the magazine instead of
Oh, it's weird.
the handle means it was a late edition. It's just like
And
he drew it in as quickly as he could. Still looks good though, but
Real world explanation though, if you were to go to your sidearm and still hold your submachine gun, your left hand would be grasping the magazine.
but yeah, that's my rationale here as well.
Mm. But I mean that is the most immaculately illustrated 45 Colt
Well,
45
oh,
in
it's
his right
great.
hand,
yeah,
and it
I
makes
keep
you really wish he'd come with one. Oh boy.
yeah, and but hey, I'm gonna step in the mud here. It is a
Oh.
Swedish K that he comes with, right? His rifle.
There is some dispute. There's
Ooh.
also the French M80 submachine gun,
There we go.
which
Yeah.
also bears a strong resemblance, particularly that magazine design.
No, the reason I ask is because I was very fixated on that gun's design, and when I was buying the 25th anniversary, that was one of the reasons I wanted to get that toy, was because of the Swedish K, like or the
Mm.
Swedish K-ish gun.
Well, no, the 25th anniversary re-release definitely did come with a Swedish K.
Okay, yeah.
Not this gun. This gun
I
is
see. That's
something else.
that's where the disconnect is. There we
Getting
go.
confused.
An example of a French M80 later on in the line, if you guys can remember Dusty version 3, the one that came with
Mm,
Sandstorm. that brown gun with the sliding stock.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's a
That's
cool
an
gun too.
MAT. Hey,
It's a
what did
cool
I want to
looking
say?
gun.
Well,
It's
the
a cool-
accessories this one comes with, I mean, are fantastic. I love this gun. The backpack is cool that it opens,
Yeah,
and not only is the detailing inside, the backpack, but even the lid itself
it's got,
has
which
got
is
detailing in it.
it's so special. Okay, sadly on my vintage version, I'm missing the cover,
Oh,
but thankfully I have got the backpack, and I do have a replacement phone, which is pretty cool. I feel like they released the detonator as part of an accessory pack at some point, or no. Night Landing. The I've got it from somewhere. Oh, very nice. It's very
because
cool
mine
detail.
is black, the
And,
reissue, but
and
the original is picked out in
which is
gray.
what Steve's showing.
Yeah.
So
And I need a piece of press deck or tack to
Ah,
keep my lid
on.
from plopping off. That's probably why so many of them were lost.
yeah,
Thankfully,
there's
mine does stay on. I think they must have, because of the different plastic used
Jigged
in
it a
the
little.
all
early
the
2000s.
molds, all the mold got a bit weathered, so
Ah,
the
that's what it
parts are a
could
bit
be.
bigger of them. They're like there's like
Or
a
I just was dead scared of losing it. Because why? Because this thing featured in the play motion.
Mm,
yes.
Yes.
that's probably what it
So
is.
and that phone is also like
Mythical.
it's
I have
mythical.
it somewhere.
I also, like I said, I also have one, and I seem to recall that I got a reissue one that came with the faux striker and the night landing craft that they did for the 50th anniversary. I feel like that's where I got a replacement phone from,
Hmm.
um, and or I've got one from an accessory pack, but I do have a vintage version of that detonator, but it's not the Firefly Gray.
Ooh, gray green. There's an
Gray
interesting
green.
cut. Like I don't know if it was true of mint on card specimens back in the day, but there's a discoloration that happens to the green. It's similar to what happens to Roadblock's gun. It almost feels like there's been a paint weathering, an effect.
Well, I mean, if you look at the artwork, it was
Looks,
definitely green when it originally came out.
yeah.
Like it proper more green than gray. I do appreciate the color differences. I mean, mine all of my accessories are black for my 2000 and early 2000s version.
But this is this is not 3D Joe's, is it?
2005.
This is 3D Joe's.
It
These are
is 3D
Chad
Joe's.
Hukal images, I guess. No, these are
Yeah,
from Philip Donnelly. Lovely stuff.
yeah,
Seems Philip has cheated the backpack to do what it does in the card art
yeah,
by sticking the lid
Oh wow!
somehow.
Recreated.
Perhaps in a prototype, it did have a hinge, but maybe they felt at that scale like let's lose that because that's
yeah,
a possible failure point.
yeah. They were right. And you guys can make your own hinge. A little bit of Scotch tape, and you'll have a hinge.
But you can see what we're getting at with the card art and just the impossible angle of the gun.
Mm,
Because in the Philip Donnelly like recreation of it with the figure, yeah, the stock absolutely can't sit in front of the figure's body. It has to
yeah,
kind of go behind his shoulder.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's bizarre.
In terms of media appearances, we might as well talk about Ray Stevenson playing him in GI Joe Retaliation. Do you
Late
guys
Ray
have an opinion on
Stevenson.
that?
He's
Yeah,
very late.
yeah. He's probably one of the cooler things in that movie.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah,
it's very cool version of Firefly. Like they kind of like modernize him a little bit to make him more like into technology and stuff, and make him use literal fireflies as like little bombs. I thought that was a cool touch.
And a kind of a like deconstructed bike that just
Yes.
doesn't he deploys a chute
Yes.
that a drag chute that pulls him off the bike, and the
yeah.
bike itself kind of all of its component parts become missiles.
But the toy they gave us was a street luge.
Oh
Ooh.
god,
Thank you, Hasbro.
yeah.
We've
Why?
had this.
You
We've had
make
this.
you make it so cool. I'm sure we have had this discussion hundreds of times. But they make that vehicle so cool. Why do you not reproduce it properly as a toy? I mean, it even has
Exactly.
little guns. He like blows open a fence.
So just
But yeah, he's one of the reasons why that movie was. He's a reason to watch that movie. I think
I
his
would say
version
definitely.
of Firefly plays true to a non-ninja version of Firefly. So the more saboteur terrorist original version of Firefly.
And normally I have an issue with taking a character that canonically is always masked and then, putting an actor like Ray Stevenson in that role and obviously needing to give him some face time.
Mm.
But he looked so damn good. I mean, he's the best looking Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely like it was a great entry into the lore of Firefly. And I distinctly remember like, and my memories of this film are not good because I haven't seen it that many times. I've kind of
Same.
always been in quiet revolt against GI Joe live action films, but I do remember one of the few laugh out loud moments for me in Retaliation was like there's a bit of bickering and rivalry between Zartan and Firefly. And at one point, Ray Stevenson just flips him off, just like boom, boom, yeah, double
Yeah, he does
bird,
do that.
and that was terrific. That is a worthy scene of rewatching. Maybe I'll cue it up. Hey, shit,
it's on
the
Showmax
hour is not that late, I
for
guess.
South
Let's watch a
Africans,
movie,
and
boys.
yeah, and yeah, and Paramount Plus, I think, for everybody else. if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Or
Yeah.
if you just want to watch that scene, I'm sure it's on
YouTube.
YouTube.
I'll bet.
That's just us trying to be
Firefly is
helpful.
inextricably linked to maybe two vehicles. The one is the ferret where he's riding bitch behind
Behind his
everybody's
favorite,
favorite
his
white
bestie.
clad ninja.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about Firefly without talking about the Cobra night landing, boys.
Yep, pictured on the box art.
Yep. And guys, and I just feel like special shout out to Cujo, who adores this vehicle
Mm-hmm.
and
This
and
vehicle
adores
and figure
Firefly.
combination, and
Yes.
of course the file card. I'm not the file card, the card art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's perfect because I mean, it would be a method of infiltration for him. Kind of coming in on the water and getting in, getting out without anyone seeing him. If he actually did the job.
And they didn't have to give it to Firefly. Firefly was a figure from the previous year's assortment. They could have put an eel on there, would have looked just as good. And eels are frogmen;
Yep.
they are amphibians. This would be their kind of key insertion vehicle, but they gave it to Firefly, and I'll say, I mean,
Good on him.
has he ever looked better? Oof.
Yeah. He shines. Everything there works so well together. And it
I
just
mean,
looks
a subtle vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Or subtle accessory pack slash vehicle, but it is absolutely a contender for the greatest box art of the line, and it certainly made it to the top. I don't know. I'm gonna say top 4 in our
Yeah, that
box art
sounds about
battles.
right. Yeah, that
It
tracks
went
with
very
my
far.
memory. Yeah.
Indeed.
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 But what a great sort of accessory pack for Firefly. I mean, if you did lose his phone, I guess the night landing has you covered with this wonderful radio,
Mm-hmm.
complete with its own sticker. I mean, it might be hollow from behind, but at least Hasbro gave you the value add of like a bit of sticker detail. That's cool. He's got a shovel to bury his shit when he hits the beach. He's got
trowel.
a German MP40. Like this is a World War II gun, boys.
Yeah. It's not. That's not a. No, it's not a grease gun.
No, this
Not
is the
what are they
classic.
called?
Like if
Yeah.
you've ever seen any World War II films, all of the Wehrmacht are running around with these.
Yeah. I used to know its name, man, and it's slipping. It escapes me now. But
Into
yeah,
the future.
it's
Isn't the MP40?
Yes, thank you. That's
You're
right.
welcome.
It is the MP40, and
The boat has a gun, a mounted gun.
And he's actually holding it properly on the box art.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not holding the magazine. Though
too hot to
curiously,
handle.
no one's holding the outboard, and that thing looks like it's gunning it. So maybe he
But
lost the wheel somewhere.
that's what he's looking at. He's like, where'd he go?
Jim, you gone? Where did you go? But yeah, an amazing bit of box art. Hopefully, also a Hector Garrido. I mean, I don't know. Did he do vehicle art as well?
Yes, I believe he did, and that does feel very Hector Garrido to
Yeah,
me, anyway.
the water splashes. It's great. Though I will call out the fact that, like, clearly whoever was doing the sticker sheets back then didn't want to spring for any extra numbers and just reused the 788 from the hiss, but reordered it to be 878. I was thinking about that today. I was like, they didn't really need to work up a different number. They just reused 788.
It's probably because they didn't want to have to pay someone to like design those all the new stencils.
Hey man,
Because
eights
that
and
is
sevens
a
are damn
font.
cool numbers.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
rejig their
Obviously,
order.
that's something that someone drew. You know, I mean, back then they were fonts, but someone would have to draw that in a certain
Yeah, but they probably got them
style.
done as but they probably got them transferred onto Letraset anyway. So
Mm,
yes, you're right. It had to be drawn, but I think I don't want to get into the technicalities of it now, but
please
on that
Okay.
artwork, I think he used 878 the way I think 788 and 878 are used because they are good looking typography wise
beautiful
or
numbers.
typographically.
So another difference between the original and my one is that he actually has what I would say is a superior head sculpt. Yes,
Ooh,
maybe
fighting words.
it's a little less special as the original is, but I think that's why I was really happy to get this version because I do not like the head of the original. He looks really dopey to me. Like
I will
it's like
concede it's a
I'm a
dopey
bomber
head sculpt.
man.
You know, it's kind of in line with Storm Shadow version 1. In
Yeah,
that
I think
it's not the best looking.
I think back then they struggled getting the spacing of the eyes correct when they did not have the full face. So when you have a masked character that's showing eyes, I think they struggle to get that spacing correct. Whoever was
It is not an
sculpting
easy thing to
those.
do, to
Yes,
be
and I
fair.
think there's at least right there's two instances where it's proven that back then they struggled to get it right.
I think a lot of the struggle was actually also the machining for the molds.
Mm,
I think that was the thing that was the problem. I don't think the sculptors had an issue because the one sculptor, whose name I forget right now, but the one sculptor, I mean,
mm.
he went and did the holograms for the Mastercards, for
Bill
example.
Merkline.
Thank you, Bill Merkline. Yeah,
Ah.
Merkline. And that sculpt is phenomenal. So I don't think
Okay, so you think it's more of the machining where
I
they
think
kind
it's
of couldn't
the
get it exactly
Yeah, the
correct.
sculpting is done in a sort of a 2-up fashion.
yes,
So when they
done big
reduce
and
to
yeah.
do the eventual 3 3/4, some things get lopsided. Sometimes the paint mask doesn't exactly help in terms of where exactly the eyeballs have been placed. They might have been a bit offset to what the sculptor's original intention was. So this is the
Yeah.
figure we got, and like even with that crudeness, like that's what sells it for me. Like, it's like exactly how old school it feels.
Hmm.
Like we spoke about the details being up there with the sort of the best in the line, but the crudeness of the head sculpts just snap you back to an earlier, simpler time.
Mm.
I'm glad it's not trying to be any better or any cooler than it is because it's plenty cool.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
I did a vlog on the subject of this guy and said like he never really was an event for me because I came to him way after childhood.
mm,
Um, so like tell me why you like this guy, and people sung out about
Mm.
how he was the most amazing thing, like just an absolute god tier in their playtimes of
I
like
can
cool.
I can understand that because David always had a strong fondness for Firefly.
Well, we
Um,
were always drawn to balaclavaed characters, but I
no, we,
fear that by the time I got 1984 Firefly in my hand, I'd obviously been extremely hot for a Shockwave, and that
mm.
cable knit with the cap, and then I got Beachhead, and that was also pretty cool, like really detailed, nice balaclava head. And then when I get down to Firefly and dare I say it, Storm Shadow version 1, I'm like, kind of missed the mark on these head sculpts, boys.
I still really love Storm Shadow V1. But coming back to Firefly,
Because of the crudeness, right? Am
I
I
don't know.
right?
It's just something. It just works. I don't know.
Okay.
Something about it just works.
Because it feels old school.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no school like the old school.
No, that I can agree with you on that. But again, coming back to Firefly, David had an almost mythical sort of appreciation for this character, for this toy. And I think in the playgrounds there in Hong Kong when he was younger, I think you were like hot shit when you had a Firefly figure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. Because he was also part of the Japanese release as well, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
Takara reached back and pulled a 1984 hit out.
And and as you were saying now, his sculpting is so good that I feel that the quality of his design is sort of like 2 years. Oh, should I say it's 2 years in the future? Like I feel like he's a better. He sits quite comfortably with 86 Joes, for example. If his head sculpt maybe had a seam line somewhere
If
for
he
the
wasn't a
balaclava,
swivel neck
yeah,
as well.
then he would be very comfortable there in 86 land as well. Like they could have easily just had re-released him as a repaint, and he would have looked like a new figure for that year.
The
He's
cool
he's
thing
that
about a
good.
swivel neck, and I was
Yeah.
thinking about this as well, is that you can get that high collar. He's
Mm.
definitely wearing like a ribbed collared like sweater.
Yeah,
Turtleneck
it's
type,
almost like a
almost.
turtleneck. Yeah,
Yeah.
So he's
on
kind
the
of
inside.
wearing cold weather gear in a sense.
Mm.
Hmm.
Firefly would work in a like a winterized setting. And certainly in Oda Cobra, that's exactly where he's operating. He's
Totally.
going toe to toe with Snow Job and Frostbite.
Yeah, they didn't need to outfit
Designing.
him, like they did with the other characters when they put them into the snow.
You
And
won't be seeing a Super 7 like winter Parker wearing Firefly anytime soon.
hopefully not. And maybe very possibly high altitude as well. Like maybe he pays a dude with an airplane to like, fly over, and he like does like little lay-low drops or whatever's, you know.
You
But
probably could
yeah,
in this outfit.
yeah, I feel like it's
But
got
yeah,
enough to
I was
keep him
very
warm.
happy to get this guy. I mean, I would love to own an original. I mean, especially
Where did
now
you
that I
get
know
yours?
that these guys are falling apart. Well, there's a comic pack, so I think Steven and I were buying a bunch of the comic packs.
Mm.
And
We
this
were
was one
definitely
of the
buying them
ones.
in the day.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this would have been announced, released, and we would have gone on eBay and found
Be
someone
like,
selling
I
it.
want this one, I want that one, and yeah, this was one that Steven was not interested in at all. So that's why I have all 3 figures from this comic pack.
I feel like the big
That
draw
is
for you
a
was
horrible
Serpentor.
Serpentor.
You wanted a Serpentor.
Yeah, Serpentor was definitely the draw. Getting the other 2 was kind of like, okay, there's a scrap iron. Scrap iron? Yeah. There's a scrap iron. And because we already had Firefly. So it's like, why do we need another Firefly? And he doesn't look like he does from the 90s. So like, what's the use of that? Yeah, definitely the Serpentor was the draw from this set.
And how do you feel about that Serpentor now?
I think he's still pretty good. I like the
Okay.
feeling of the figure. I mean, because of the paintedness. I mean, the way that they've made these figures, he has lots of nice texturing to him,
Okay.
which I think isn't present on the original. Like it is obviously the molded texturing, but the feeling of the paint versus the unpainted areas feels really nice.
And does he feel better than Firefly?
I would say so. Yes, he
Okay.
but he almost feels almost too new. I think.
Okay.
I like that his helmet comes off, which I believe this was the first version that his helmet could come off.
I think that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you
And
kind of
I
have
would
this
also
very
add
angry
that, like,
sculpted head.
while a lot of the comic book 3-packs, because they had newly sculpted, newly tooled, more accurate, better sculpted heads, they had the trade-off, unfortunately, that those heads were a little bit too small for the O-ring bodies, and this was across the board.
Yes,
But because that Serpentor comes with his headgear, which is removable, you can plop that on, and suddenly the head doesn't look
the
too
head
small.
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't look
It's
so
right.
bad.
It looks
It
proportionate. It looks good. And you still have the benefit of being able to look into that snake head and see a wonderfully sculpted full Serpentor face.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So yeah,
Have
that's
you
why.
ever seen what Serpentor classics, what the 1986 classic Serpentor head sculpt looks like under the mask?
I have seen some pictures on the
I
internet.
have
It
seen
is
pictures.
rather hilarious.
It's
It's
horrific.
a melted head. It's like, what's the guy from the Goonies?
Um,
Yeah, it's
not
that.
chunk. Oh
Chunky.
Everybody
no.
knows what I'm talking about. The
We all
big guy.
know. You guys are
Except
gonna
for
tell us
us,
in the comments.
we
down
just
below.
can't quote the name right now. I feel like such an
We've watched
idiot.
that movie so many times. But anyway, I was very happy to get this version. But now I kind of feel like I need the original because you guys are, because I've just discovered that he's gonna fall apart.
And
Well,
Steve,
good luck, buddy. I don't know. I shudder to think what the aftermarket prices on original Fireflies are. I got mine many years ago, but maybe a decade ago,
Mm.
from the United Kingdom, where I found prices were a little bit more palatable. Like America was already in a kind of a spiral of like gobbling up all the classic figures, whereas the UK still was kind of chill about old GI Joes.
mm,
It's that American thing that everyone had a few of.
and played with back in the day.
But yeah, I also managed to get my Storm Shadow back then, for like what would be an absolute steal today.
Yeah, you got it in year 2 of GI Joe.
Wow,
From
2013 then, yeah.
yeah, so 2013. Well, 2013.
So what are prices looking like on the bay for Firefly 1984? Spicy?
Oh goodness, I'm not sure. I'm sure they will be there. I'm actually about to look.
Okay,
Well, while you,
a loose one, no accessories, you can get for as little as 400 rand.
Okay, that's
That
not
wow,
would
too
be,
bad,
that's
which is
pretty good.
fine because I have the newer accessories, and I
yeah,
mean it's
that'd
not
be
like
like
the new accessories
$25.
are gonna drop off or anything. I think $400 for a figure is actually pretty decent.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
it's actually cheaper than a Super 7 Reaction Plus for us, by the way.
yeah, which is crazy because I was looking. I don't know why. Well, I'll get mentioned in this episode. This is a Firefly focus episode.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so Firefly has appeared in movies, in comics, in cartoons, and he has an exceptionally complicated history that I hope you guys will discover for yourselves. We've kind of touched on it here. Stephen and Ben have touched on it in a recent
They
episode of
touched it a
Chasing
lot.
Joe, in episode 53. That's
Hey,
correct, I'm sure.
I'll believe that.
Well,
And yeah.
and because nobody asked, mine comes from Greg Crockett, who
Ah.
lovingly sent this with the Terrordrome for me. So,
Ah.
Wow,
That's like
complete
I've got his gun in his backpack.
legend.
Yeah,
that's
Thank you,
which
Greg.
is amazing. Yeah, so thank you, Greg, for that one. And yeah, it's a special thing because what I wanted to say about the mythology of this character for me in terms of the playground is that Dave and Mike back in the day would speak about Firefly as if, in the same sort of breath as version 2 Snake Eyes,
Mm.
and so he became quite mythical because this was a toy that Michael's older brother Richard, I can't believe I remember these people's names, he would like talk up Firefly because he apparently had one and then lost it in a move when they moved house. And so I was always very excited about this. And I think when Firefly came out in 94 or 93, or for us in 93, and David got him, David was like, oh my God, I got Firefly. And I was just like,
Who? What now?
like, this is not the Firefly that was sold to me in Oda Cobra, bro. Like, and I've just never been able to like sort of reconcile with that. So this will always be my favorite Firefly, and also not for nothing, the 50th anniversary late release. There's a Firefly that came there as part of one of those like 3-packs. I can't quite recall who he comes packaged with, but he is kind of regarded as the ultimate Firefly. Beautiful figure for those of you guys who love the modern era stuff. Really go and check him out. And if you are a diehard Firefly fan and you do want to have quite a few iterations of him, then I do recommend that if you're looking at the 25th anniversary, to please also look at the peripherals, like the huge like 7-packs or 5-packs, or in some cases 2-packs, because they come with interesting accessories that aren't shared across all the figures, like the goggles, for example. There's some very interesting quirks with those fireflies, which we mostly like to cover the vintage stuff, but I just wanted to let our listeners and viewers know. And I think this is a part of the episode where we kind of go, where we ask you guys, is he one of your favorite characters in terms of like where do you put him in your toy box? Is he quick to hand, or do you have to dig for him a little bit? So that's to you guys as well here at GI Joburg, and for those of you in the
Under your pillow
comments.
at night.
Does he
You're the number one Firefly fan in the world.
does he come with you in your pocket everywhere? Do you keep him as a good luck charm or to ward off evil spirits? I don't know. Tell us in the comments. I want to hear it. And
It's
if
definitely a
there's
worthy figure
oh
of
yes,
people's
Absolutely.
favorites.
I think why we struggled to kind of, or why you guys were maybe surprised that I wanted to talk about the original, is because we didn't grow up with him. He wasn't a character that we, or at least me and Stephen, had any knowledge of until later in our lives.
Character,
Character, yes, but not
figure,
the
we
look.
didn't.
Not
I think
this look. This this way
we
of him
might have
appearing.
poured over grainy catalogs in the early days of the internet and been like, wow, that's what Firefly looked like back in the
like
day.
originally.
yeah.
He's like all gray. I can't really make out,
It's-
but he looks like he comes with some cool stuff. Like,
It's cool, but it's kind of boring. Like, why isn't he green?
I feel like this was a figure that
Yeah.
you probably would have prioritized getting, Rob. If we'd actually made good on our goal back then to collect everything that this one online retailer had before the ultimate, all that stuff sold
You
out.
guys.
But we divvied it up. We scrolled this list of products and their little thumbnails,
Just
and we're like, ooh, a triple T with Sergeant Slaughter. What's that? Do you want it, Rob? Yeah. I'll take that one.
It's pretty cool. I'd love to have one of those.
I
like-
want a parting shot from you guys. Quick fire
Mm.
of all the sculpted elements, and there are many. What is your favorite
Favorite
bit of sculpting detail on the classic action figure?
Mm.
Wow.
Oh,
There's
actually,
lots to choose from.
Well, while you guys mull it over, I'm going to say the sculpted pistol is so nice.
I knew you would say that.
While he's got a 45 in his card art, I'd say they went with the Beretta 9mm. Just something about the nose.
Yeah, it
Looks
doesn't
like
look
it
like
could be
the
Beretta.
45. You're right. It does look different.
that does look more Beretta-ish.
The nose, the barrel. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
front end, the business end, the
Yeah.
part where you smile, wait for the flash. You know?
For my money, I am I'm like super impressed with the sculpting of the sidearm, and I would have actually also joined you in chorus with that, Steve. But I actually love his pouches, the bandoliers. Like, so here on the, I mean, it's not like we have all these details to pour over, but there's something to be said about how what's the word, homogeneous the bandoliers and grenades are with him. They're there, there's enough detail and you see it, but they're not popping out like Major Blood, Sonic Fighters Major Blood. I mean, those grenades are like out there. I appreciate the subtlety. It really does maintain his silhouette. It looks good. You get the information that the stuff is there, but it's not chunky. And I really do like that.
Yeah,
I really
and
do
there are-
appreciate that subtlety.
There's like small I mean, he even has like a little pouch on his belt. He has two little pouches at his hips, which I really like. But I also like he has the little detonators on his leg. But I like the little tiny things on his right or his left wrist. Actually, I have no idea what they are, but they look really interesting. They're like
The
little
card art
clocks.
picks them out.
They're almost like watches, I'm guessing, so you can keep time of different things.
Oh,
That's
Possibly,
kind
yeah.
of well, unless the card art says otherwise. And then he has a mini knife on his right wrist as well. Or at least it looks
little
like a
lesson
knife.
opener.
Yeah.
Sorry,
lockpick.
I misspoke. The
Ooh.
card art does not actually
Does
detail
not
those
show
little,
those.
Hmm.
So then, yeah, I'm assuming they're like little watches that he kind of keeps time of some of his bombs. They're kind of two square rectangles on his left wrist. That's kind of what I'm going with.
Something that was always a detractor for me is the fact that, like, yes, the paint mask puts the camo over his sort of bandolier magazine pouches, over the sort of I don't know, explosive device on his lower torso.
Mhm.
But does he then, in universe, spray paint his grenades to kind of fit in with his uniform, even down to the kind of the camo pattern?
Yes, he does.
I got a feeling he
So,
does. I got a feeling he does because that matters.
It matters with the impression he's giving, that like no one ever notices when I go in and out, like I'm the master of infiltration.
look, I'm just
Everything, every
grateful
detail
for the
matters.
2005 version for showing us once again what he would look like with all those details picked out in paint.
Hmm.
And I guess this is just a bias with
This
the,
is
the
the old
figure that I
funny
have
Daddy
in my hands.
Steven. Yeah.
Familiarity.
With
It's
that
not
in
old
mind,
school. It's not old
I
school.
like the way he looks in his classic.
Bah, I appreciate the
I
detail.
like his low vis look. It's a great,
Yeah.
great thing. Also, just to speak to the camo being painted over, and please, I say this purely just from a creative point of view and maybe
place
just
with
a bit
love.
of deduction as well. I don't think Firefly. I mean, for starters, he's carrying a Beretta as a sidearm on the figure. We are deducing that he's using a Beretta because it looks Beretta-like, even though he's packing a 45 on the card art. Something tells me that Firefly's weaponry is kind of haphazardly collected. He has a weapons dealer, an arms dealer that he gets stuff from, and they might not always have his favorite grenades, or they might not have US grenades, they might have Soviet grenades or whatever's. And so he takes what he can. So if you're taking, the military are trained to, and the police are trained to recognize the weapons of their region, so that you can identify them with a cursory glance, for example. So I think it's very important that you then paint your grenades and whatever's to match, your actual gear and your camo, because
to make him more unidentifiable or
yeah,
less distinct.
yeah, and to give just so that it's weird how the brain will work. The brain will see nothing, and then it'll be like, "Oh, that's an M24A1 like grenade." Wait a second, you know, like.
That
But if
guy.
it's all grayed out, you're like, "Oh, okay, what am I seeing?" Or when he's coming up at you, it's grayed out. The panic of being assaulted. You're not maybe seeing that stuff because it's grayed out. Whatever. It's just some speculation, but that was just me trying to somehow amend or just sell the fact that his camouflage goes over his weapons
I
and
think it's
pouches.
cool.
That's guys, are we Fireflied out? Because there is
Knew
something
it.
I want to share with the viewers.
Interesting.
Someone used floor polish to gummy up his leg.
Oh my goodness. Steven has discovered something incredible about his original
That wasn't me.
vintage Firefly.
That's coming out.
They
I'd
use
rather
future.
have loose, clicky legs than to have that shit in my figure. Thank you very
Crazy.
much.
It's
So
probably future
someone-
floor cleaner. So
So
see if you can use
someone
water.
try
No,
to
I
make
pulled it
him
out.
appear fresher than he was.
It's just an old trick to get joints to have some more stiffness. But you can tell when something's had something pushed into it. Firstly, it makes the joint kind of bulge out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which is unsightly and unfortunate. I don't know if there's any way to ever correct that now. But also, it feels different. Plastic will have a certain kind of friction with itself.
Yes.
But you add something like polish, something that's gummy and sticky, and it's got a different kind of. It's not it's a different kind of buttery. It's more of a
Mm.
taffiness to the movement.
Yeah, it travels
I know what
differently.
plastic friction feels like for sure.
Hey, nah, sorry, Robbo. I feel for your scrap iron, but once again, you do have the original. So
I do have the original.
stick that 2005 comic pack version
In the
in a
bin.
box and
Alright.
forget about it.
I definitely will.
Cool. With
So
that, I
yes,
want to
I
show you
think
guys something.
we know all about Firefly. Thank you for
Yeah.
talking about Firefly, guys. But Paul has something he would like to share with the class.
Yes, I do. And if you give me 2 seconds,
I'm going to give
just make
Paul
sure.
2 seconds.
There we go. Now I'm just making sure I remember how to screen share. Now, you gentlemen, I don't know if you're going to really be able to see this properly, so I do
But
apologize.
the people at home
But
will,
for
but
the,
we
for
will
the
do our
folks at
best to
home,
describe it for the listeners.
yeah. Well, let's see how that goes.
I'm very excited.
And
This feels like a watershed moment for GI Joburg.
Is it sharing? There we go.
Yes.
Absolutely
We are seeing
seeing
Paul's storm shadow
Firefly.
artwork.
Yes.
Or do you have a cunning little non-copyright infringing code name for this particular piece, Paulie?
Storm Ninja.
Very good.
Oh.
So Storm Ninja will be available this week. I want to say Monday, but I just know how sometimes the uploads can be, so let's just be safe. So from the 16th, he should be available on our Teespring store.
16 December 2025.
16th of
for
December
those in the future.
2025. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Well played. There will be an exclusive version for the patrons and YouTube members as well.
This is a fantastic piece. He's
Thank you,
holding
dude.
a sword. He has kind of like the gripping claws that Vega runs around with,
Well,
or
the Ninja Teki,
Balrog,
yeah.
as you Japanese fans of Street Fighter know him.
Mhm.
And he's kind of staring over his shoulder in very, I suppose, more. Well, it's not the original version, but it's just kind of like his second version of the character that he's inspired by.
Thank you, Rob. I'm glad you're talking. It's so much better than me explaining it because you're seeing this and
I'm seeing it for the first time and I'm really liking it.
Shot, dude. This is a nice little work in progress for those of you who made it this far in the episode. So thank you very much for your ongoing support of GI Joburg through the Patreon. Well, actually, even before that, through liking, subscribing, through the YouTube membership, through the Patreon, Patreon system, and then also just in general, just thanks for being such cool people and commenting and helping us
Love
get to
all
this
of
point.
you guys out there.
Yeah, thank you for entertaining this little fireside chat that we've been having for the last 14 or so years. And
join us for the next 14.
That's correct. That would be great. Let's do that. But I think for now, thank you everybody. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you,
And in
Paul.
the immortal words of Firefly,
Ooh.
in what lies beneath the evil below? I don't know. The one where Cthulhu's underneath Lady J's castle.
No, not that
That
one.
one, yes.
Not that one. Yes. So Firefly says, and I quote, "Die, fireman!"
Berg.
Berg.